Now at 6, I can't imagine it's true. The words from Larry Nassar's lawyer, who they were directed at, as we pick up round 2 of the ex-doctor's sentencing today.
Also, it's more than just Nassar. The plea from students who say MSU keeps letting them down.
Plus, a husband's cry for answers, what he says about a search for a man in connection to his wife's murder in Grand Rapids.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock now. I'm Teresa Weekly.
I'm Casey Jones, and Daybreak on your Friday morning starts right now.
From Wood TV, this is 24-hour News 8 Daybreak.
And on this Friday, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see more than 24 schools are closed, mostly because so many students and teachers are sick.
Yeah, the bulk of those happening in Calhoun and Kalamazoo County. We've got a running tab on the website. You can get the very latest there at woodtv.com or on the mobile app. Our top story, though, this morning is that blue band you'll see on Storm Track Live. The winter blast making a big return just in time for the weekend.
Yeah, welcome back to winter. We have team coverage for you this morning. Ellen will track the snow that will be widespread this weekend, but we want to get to Kyle first, who's first of all here and following some pretty chilly temperatures along the lakeshore.
Hey, good morning, guys. You know, actually, there are a few people here at Wood TV that are sick. I tried to get the place closed down, but I had no luck, so I'm here tracking snow for you. We've got light snow falling with occasional bursts of moderate snow right here along the lakeshore. Let me give you a closer view on Storm Track Live here. You can see that we're seeing these bands along 31, 196 on Storm Track Live, and also US 31 here. You get north of Grand Haven into Muskegon and Holland. We're seeing some slick spots. The big bands right now kind of either side of Holland. It's a bit of a lull right now in the city of Holland, but western Ottawa, good part of Allegan, Van Buren County getting that snow also. Additional snow accumulation today, most places around 1 inch to 2 inches, and this is through about noon. Most of the snow happens this morning. Wind chills going to be a big problem for us today, staying below 0 through lunchtime and then barely getting above 0 by this afternoon. And we have more snow on the way this weekend, worthy of shoveling and plowing. Here's Ellen with that.
All right, so unlike the lake effect snow that we've been seeing, this is a widespread snow, and it's going to be starting tonight. So that means everyone should be getting some accumulation through the weekend into Sunday. The heaviest snow out of this is going to be expected Saturday evening. So technically it starts tonight, but it'll really ramp up through the day on Saturday, late into Sunday. The people that are going to see the most, well, that's mainly north of I-96, and we're going to be showing you just how much to expect as we go throughout the hour. Here's the setup. We have an area of high pressure that's going to filter just to our south, and because of the way that the wind flows around an area of high pressure, it's going to take a stream of moisture and steer it right into West Michigan starting tonight. Along with that, we get this little wave of upper level energy that helps not only kickstart some of that snow, but it helps to drag in some moisture from the south. So this is the end result. If we look at how much snow we can generally expect, it's looking like a widespread 3 to 6 inches by Sunday, 6 to 8 inches farther to the north, especially north of Muskegon. We've got a full outlook of your forecast coming up in just a minute, but first we want to get a check of the traffic with Tom. Not too bad out there today,
No. Good thing we don't have to do a full commute tomorrow, because that seems like it'd be a rough situation. Where we are seeing some of those slow spots, slow areas are definitely be along the lakeshore here, just where Kyle and Ellen have been talking about that lake effect snow that is setting up. So you can see a little bit here in the Holland area, but particularly down along the I-94, 196 interchange at the Benton Harbor area. Been seeing slow spots there all morning. So if you're heading towards the Chicagoland area today, make sure to give yourself some extra travel time. Taking a look right now at the Metro Grand Rapids area where we're not seeing any of that snow. You can see we're at full speed and accident-free along area freeways. Want to give you a live look at the road conditions right now. This is US 131 at Leonard. You can see we're still working with light traffic volumes out there as we enter the 6 o'clock hour, but you can see for the most part drivers able to go full speed with those dry roads. I'll be back in 15 minutes with another check of your Friday morning commute. Casey?
Thank you, Tom. It's 6:04 right now, and in just a few hours, we'll hear more from Larry Nassar's victims. The ex-sports doctor is entering day 2 of his sentencing in an Eaton County courtroom. These charges stem from abuse at a mid-Michigan gymnastics club. Nassar's already facing 100 years behind bars for child porn and sex abuse crime charges from other cases, but the attention could be turned towards Larry Nassar's attorney today. She's raising eyebrows after calling several of the victims liars. 24-hour News 8's Marvis Herring has more on her statements and the reaction from Nassar himself this morning. Marvis?
Casey attorney Shannon Smith says there's no way Nassar could have assaulted so many women, saying that the number of victims is, quote, extreme. But even Larry Nassar is distancing himself from those controversial comments this morning. Smith's comments were sure to spark outrage. That's exactly what they've done. She says some of the 150 plus survivors who have spoken during Nassar's sentencing hearings did receive legitimate medical care. Revelations in the Nassar sex abuse scandal continued to trickle in over the last 16 months. The number of accusers has gone from 2 to 265. Smith says many women didn't question their treatment until this story gained national momentum. During an interview, she said, quote, some of those girls, to be quite frank, they didn't even know what to think because they never felt victimized. He was never inappropriate to them, and because of everything they've seen, they just feel like they must have been victimized, and I think that's really unfortunate. Nassar says he did not authorize Smith's comments and says he's sorry about the distraction at a time when the attention should be focused on the statements of these victims. The hearing is expected to last until early next week. You can find a live stream throughout the day on woodtv.com. Teresa.
All right, Marvis, thank you. More change could be on the way at Michigan State University, and that's exactly what hundreds of people are hoping for.
Yeah, nearly 600 students lined up outside a town hall last night to talk about how the school has handled the Larry Nassar cases. Many voiced disapproval of how the trustees voted on the school's interim president, bringing in former Michigan Governor John Engler to fill in after Lou Anna K. Simon resigned.
For the sake of unification, I agree to vote with the majority. That's what I said.
Clearly a strong reaction there to comments last night. Students and staff say they're upset because they didn't have any say in who would lead the university. Trustees say that was not their intention.
I think we've come across as tone deaf, sterile, head in the sand, and that's why I felt it was important to show up to this and to show the community that I care, and that I'm here to listen to them, and that we're going to formulate a plan and move forward.
Most of the people who spoke up last night said that they really want MSU to have a clean slate. That's what the university needs in order to build trust again. We are hearing today from the husband of a woman who was murdered in Grand Rapids. Police are trying to find a person of interest in this case.
Yeah, Norman Muhammad Jr. is 43 years old. Police want to question him as part of their investigation into how Jermaine Bullock Brown and her 2-year-old grandson, King Talbert, died. They were both shot and killed January 17th at a home on Montgomery Street. We're told Muhammad and Brown previously had a relationship that revolved around drugs and that he had threatened her when that relationship ended. Muhammad has not been charged and has not been named a suspect.
Tell the police what's going on if you see the guy. Like they say, he's a person of interest, and we would like to catch him as soon as possible.
Grand Rapids police tell us Muhammad may be armed, so if you do see him, do not approach him.
Call police or call Silent Observer instead.
There's a search this morning for a man who hit up a Subway in Plainfield Township. Kent County Sheriff's deputies say that a man walked into the store on West River Drive around 2:30 yesterday and demanded cash. He claimed to have a gun. No one saw it. As of now, it's not clear if he did steal anything from the store.
We'll hear today from a man in Las Vegas who police there say is a person of interest in the mass shooting. Douglas Haig is 55 years old. He will speak alongside his attorney in Arizona. His name was on packaging found in Stephen Paddock's hotel room. Haig sold Paddock some of the ammunition that police say he used in one of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history. Haig says the guilt he feels forced him to shut down his side business.
Today, there's an event that'll be held in Grand Rapids to update the public on the nation's opioid epidemic. That event kicks off at 7:30 this morning at the Loosemore Auditorium at the DeVos Center. It's off of West Fulton. It'll begin with a light breakfast and then have panelists with doctors from Spectrum Health, Ferris State University, and Grand Rapids Police Chief David Rahinsky. The event is free. It is open to everyone.
6:09 now. If you notice that Casey and I are matching, today it is not by coincidence.
No, there's a reason for it, and we're going to spread that reason and how you can take part, raising awareness and saving lives simply by wearing red.
Also still ahead, good news from Google. Why Michigan will get big name recognition. That's coming up next.
Break with Teresa Weekly, Casey Jones, meteorologists Terry DeBoer and Matt Kirkwood, and traffic with Tom Hillen.
Well, it's kind of hard to see because it's not light out yet, but if you look under the lamp here, you can see there's some snow falling that kind of brightens up the snowflakes. It's light snow here on the lakeshore in South Haven. In Grand Rapids, we're not seeing any snow right now, so travel conditions are pretty good. Inland by the lakeshore, it's kind of dicey from time to time. We have hit and miss bands of lake effect snow. You can see those here on Storm Track Live. A lot of them right now focused on these areas in Ottawa and Allegan and western Van Buren County. Pretty good band here, moving just to the east, but pretty parallel to US 31. So this is headed through West Olive, just west of GVSU. 196 here between Holland and Saugatuck. Watch out for some snow, and all the way down to about New Buffalo, we're seeing the snow continue. And then we have more on the way this weekend, so I wanted to walk through this with the Futurecast. The lake effect snow that's out there right now, that will dissipate by about midday. This afternoon, peaks of sunshine, definitely a possibility. Clouds thicken back up, and then we'll see some snow here early tomorrow morning. This will be a quick and fairly light round. The heavier snow that we've been talking about comes in the afternoon Saturday, last Saturday night, and then into Sunday morning. And we could see some substantial accumulation of snow. What I'm thinking, by the time this all winds down Sunday, really afternoonish, we've got widespread 3, 4, 5 inches here for the light blue areas, and then a half a foot or more. A strong possibility northwest of Grand Rapids. And again, that's Saturday afternoon through about midday Sunday for most of that. It's chilly out there and breezy too. 1, the current wind chill in Grand Rapids. Here's our 8-day forecast. Watch for the cold to continue. We will hit 32 tomorrow. That's ahead of the system. Temperatures fall later in the weekend. Accumulating snow will slowly wind down Sunday afternoon. And then for Monday, a break, partly cloudy, but cold, high of 18. And we have some single-digit lows later in the 8-day forecast, so the February chill is going to continue. Tom?
All right, we're getting one of our first crashes of the morning, Kyle, and this is along westbound I-96. It's a slide-off at Apple, so just past the Grand Haven Nunica exits are starting to indicate we're picking up a few slick spots in this area where some of those lake effect snow bands are kind of moving through. But taking a look towards the south Benton Harbor area, this is where we've been picking up a lot of our slowdowns this morning along the I-94 corridor and also along northbound, southbound I-196 along the lakeshore. So if this is a route that you have to take today, if you're heading to the Chicagoland area, not a bad idea to be giving yourself some extra time, because this is where primarily the slowdowns have been all throughout the morning. I want to give you a live look at the roads right now from one of our MDOT cameras. This is US 131 at West River Drive. You can see right now we're starting to pick up heavier traffic volumes heading into downtown on this Friday morning, but here in the metro area, people are able to move at full speed, working with our clear and dry roads. I'll be back for another check of your traffic in about 15 minutes. Casey and Teresa.
Thank you, Tom. It's 6:20 on your Friday morning. Minneapolis, the center of the football world this week, and there's plenty to see and do around the Mall of America as we gear up for Super Bowl 52.
And there's one shop that is near Radio Row that certainly grabs attention. You might say it turns heads. John Schaefer is live for us in Minneapolis. He has that story. John?
Good morning, Teresa and Casey. Yes, it's fun to see the in-styles being created up on the 3rd floor of the Mall of America. We're not talking fashion, but it is fashionable, and it's a trend that continues to grow.
For the Super Bowl, fans go all out to show their team pride. Jerseys, face paint, and even haircuts.
Between 8 and 10, different teams, even if their team isn't in the Super Bowl, they're still coming in to get their favorite team.
Just steps away from Radio Row is Final Cut Sports Barbershop.
Here at Mall of America, we've been over here a little over a year.
And in Dominic Warren's chair sits 12-year-old James Holton.
I think I might go for the Patriots.
That's who you going for, James?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Tom Brady. Tom Brady and Gronk.
So we asked the only barber he's ever known
This is my favorite barber.
to give him a fresh cut with a Super Bowl theme.
Yeah, that was great. So when he actually gave me a call and said, I told him, perfect.
James wanted to go all out.
Eagles, and I'm also going to put the Patriots sign in there, too.
Along with the Roman numerals for Super Bowl 52.
I'll definitely spend maybe a good hour.
But when it's all said and done, it's a win-win.
I like it. Look like he likes it.
And James says he can't wait to show it off at school.
I just like looking fresh.
And hopefully celebrate a Patriots win on Sunday.
So these two have teamed up in the past as well. James and Dominic have done Batman. Spider-Man and the Patriots logo in James's hair in years past as well. Pretty cool. I thought about going with the Lombardi Trophy all the way up to like my forehead, but I thought my boss might come after me if I did that, so probably best I didn't. In Minneapolis, I'm John Schaefer. Let's send it back to you two.
Right, John, thanks. Nobody would even notice until after the Super Bowl. He's got to wear the hat. It's cold.
It's -8 degrees air temperature in Minneapolis right now. Good for you, John.
It's 6:22 right now. We're going red for women, and you can too. That's coming up after the break. Welcome back to Daybreak. In the United States, cardiovascular diseases kill about 1 in 3 women every year. Go Red for Women is the American Heart Association's national movement to end heart disease and stroke in women. And we have a couple special guests in the studio right now with me. Jeannie Lesarge Bono is the executive director at the American Heart Association. And Connie Jones is with her too. And she has an important story to share. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Connie, Jeannie, what is the purpose of this day that has been in play for many years now? What is surprising about the numbers as it pertains to women's health that so many people don't know?
Well, cardiovascular disease is actually the #1 health risk for women. 1 in 3 women will die of cardiovascular disease. So the Go Red for Women movement is really a year-long movement, but we celebrate it on National Wear Red Day to increase awareness and to do more about empowering women to take care of their health.
What would you like to see women doing today beyond just wearing red?
Well, we would like to see women get more involved in knowing their numbers and knowing their family history and being empowered to take care of their health and fitness to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. 80% of all cardiovascular disease is preventable, and it can be impacted by lifestyle changes.
Connie, you know this better than most women do. What is your story that you want to get out there?
Well, 2007, I had a major stroke, and 2 years after that, I had another mild stroke, and after that, I had another one. And I was 400 pounds. Then I found out recently, I did a study, they found that I had a hole in my heart. And they linked that for me having back-to-back strokes. And soon they would go in and they would close that hole up in my heart.
You have clearly made some lifestyle changes as well. Thank you for coming on to share that. That is such a good information for people to have on this day. Thank you both for coming in.
You're welcome.
And we'll be right back after this.
From Wood TV, this is 24-hour News 8 Daybreak.
Right now on Daybreak, what could happen if the president decides to release a memo that accuses the FBI of being anti-Trump?
Plus, war zone shooting spree, who police say a gunman targeted in a deadly rampage across Metro Detroit.
I don't want to go out with a whimper. I want to go out with a big bang.
The return of rock royalty when you can buy your tickets to see Elton John one last time in West Michigan.
We start with a live look at downtown Grand Rapids for you. What you won't see here in this shot is just how cold it is out there.
It just looks clear this morning. It is very cold. And we have Kyle Underwood in the tracking center today. Yes, it is 6:30 in the morning. Hi, Kyle.
Hello. Yeah, I've been here for about 4 hours already, and I'm just now starting to wake up and feeling pretty good. It is chilly out there. We do have some snow, but not for everybody. This is pure lake effect. It's actually clear on the other side of Lake Michigan. Take a look at the radar. You can see on Storm Track Live, the snow is almost exclusively west of 131, although a couple of snowflakes are trickling into Kalamazoo. Most of it's here across Ottawa, far western Muskegon, Allegan, Van Buren County, with some heavier bands right here just to the south of Holland. I've seen this one be pretty persistent in northwestern Allegan County between Holland and the Saugatuck exit on 196. You're going to run into some slick spots, so be careful for that. More snow on the way today. About an inch likely here in these lakeshore communities, and windy and cold out there too. A couple of cool things coming up. First of all, if you're traveling to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis this weekend, a very cold forecast. Plus, Ellen is going to tell you just how bad Punxsutawney Phil's forecasting abilities are in a few minutes. But first, we got to check in with Tom for a traffic update.
Yeah, heads up if you normally get off of northbound US 131 and take business US 131 in downtown. That has been permanently closed for a arena project that will be going in there. So again, that will be permanently closed between Oaks and Cherry. And as a result of that, there has been a temporary traffic light that's been installed at Cherry and Ionia. So expect some delays in that area today as drivers get used to it. This is the first morning commute where that will be in place. I want to take a look at Kalamazoo County for you right now, taking a look at the I-94 corridor and US 131. So far, things looking pretty good for folks in Kalamazoo County, not registering any slowdowns or crashes so far on this Friday morning. I'll have another check of traffic for you in about 15 minutes. Casey and Teresa.
Okay, thank you, Tom. 6:33 right now. We expect the president to approve the release of a classified memo later today.
Republicans claim it proves the FBI did improper surveillance during the 2016 campaign, and there are some who say that this could put national security at risk if they do release it.
24-hour News 8's Marvis Herring joins us now with more on this controversial release. Marvis?
Casey and Teresa, lots of people going to be watching D.C. this morning. Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee prepared this memo that we soon expect to see, and they say it clearly shows wrongdoing by the FBI, specifically when they first started investigating ties between Russia and Trump's 2016 campaign. This memo accuses the FBI and the Justice Department of anti-Trump biases. They say that they abused the surveillance power to watch a Trump campaign member. Yesterday, we told you FBI officials believe that the document is inaccurate as it stands right now because they say parts of the original document were taken out to change its meaning. Former FBI Director James Comey shared some strong comments of his own on Twitter defending the FBI. The most pointed comment came in the end of the post. Quote, American history shows that in the long run, weasels and liars never hold the field so long as good people stand up. Not a lot of schools or streets named for Joe McCarthy, he says. President Trump fired Comey in May. Trump told NBC's Lester Holt it was because of that investigation into Russia. And more drama to report this morning. White House aides say Christopher Wray, Trump's FBI director replacement, could quit if this memo is released today. They say he's frustrated that the president is not heeding his advice. Teresa and Casey.
All right, Marvis, thank you. This is big news for people in Rockford, Belmont area, something they've been waiting for. The state of Michigan is working with the CDC to develop a new health study in that area.
That could include widespread blood testing. Target 8's Ken Kolker is getting his own blood tested. Ken grew up in the Rockford area. He was able to sit down with the state's chief medical executive, who says a widespread study would give the nation a chance to learn more about the impact of PFAS.
There's individual blood testing, and then there's part of being a health study. And that's a very different issue. I do think that there is a role for blood testing as part of a very carefully designed health study, as what was done in Parkersburg.
You can watch Ken Kolker's entire Target 8 investigation online right now at woodtv.com. And there you'll also find resources if you live in an area affected by PFAS.
A gunman will face charges after prosecutors say he killed 2 people during a shooting rampage in Detroit.
Police say that the shooter set out to kill his former bosses. Police say that the 45-year-old brought an AK-47 to the building yesterday, shot and killed the manager on duty, and after that he stole a semi-truck and drove to Pontiac, where he shot and killed another of his former bosses. From there, he went to a third company but couldn't find the person he was looking for, and by then police were able to catch up with him. A gunfight started. That suspect was arrested. He is expected to survive. Today's the day we put all of our hopes for an early spring and that furry fella.
It's a big one, too. Punxsutawney Phil will crawl out of his hole in less than 2 hours, and the big question is, will he see his shadow? So much that goes into this.
And we are joined live from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania this morning. Omar Jimenez with what's going on out there. A lot of music we can hear. Omar?
Lots of music. They're playing the Star Wars theme right now as they're blasting fireworks over the crowd here. They are getting everyone amped up for that world-famous decision coming from maybe the world's most famous groundhog in just about an hour or so. You can really feel the tradition that has been here for more than a century. It is almost wild that it is such a uniquely American tradition, and you can see the remnants of these fireworks as they continue to go off here. But one one of the main things that makes this so interesting, this is the 25th anniversary of the actual movie Groundhog Day. Before that movie actually came out, you only saw crowds potentially in the double digits, maybe even low triple digits. After that movie came out, we saw crowds up to 30,000. And I can say, just based on the numbers that we are seeing right now, there are definitely plenty of people here to see what Punxsutawney Phil will predict, whether we will get 6 more weeks of winter, him seeing his shadow, or he doesn't, and we get an early spring.
All right, Omar, quickly, despite what Punxsutawney has forecasted in the past, some of us here, especially in Michigan, are losing faith in his predictions because of the cold we're experiencing. What's the feel out there from everyone else? Do they still have faith in this groundhog?
Yeah, I would say, and one thing I should say about his actual predictions, now, legend has it, he's never been wrong. Well, when you look at the actual numbers, all right, he's been right maybe about 50% of the time. And another thing is he's predicted 6 more weeks of winter, way more than he's predicted in early spring. So if that's any indication, I think the cold might stick around a little longer than we might plan on. But hey, you never know. We're going to find out in about an hour or so, at least by this guy's prediction over my shoulder.
Thank you very much, Omar. And Alan Baca, in about 10 minutes, will give you a better breakdown of how accurate his prediction is.
Yeah, she's our in-house groundhog.
Yeah.
That is Sir Elton John, and he is back. Coming up when you can buy tickets to see him at Van Andel Arena.
Also ahead on Daybreak, what Larry Nassar's lawyer said about his victims that had Nassar apologizing.
Welcome back to Daybreak. Don't throw away your shot to get a chance to see one of the most revered men in music in Grand Rapids for one last time.
Tickets to see Elton John at Van Andel go on sale this morning, part of his final tour called Farewell Yellow Brick Road. It'll start this September. He'll stop in Grand Rapids October 15th. Elton John says this tour could take as long as 3 years, so don't get too sad yet. He says he wants to give his fans the final show they deserve.
I want to go out with a bang and say thank you and leave people thinking, God, I saw the last tour and it was fantastic.
Tickets to a stop at Van Andel Arena go on sale this morning at 10 o'clock. You can get those tickets through Ticketmaster.
Casey likes to speak in song titles, and that went right over my head earlier when you said, what's your song?
You're sorry about that, right?
There he goes again.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Your song, sad songs. Tiny Dancer is my song.
It's 6:43 now. Top athletes from around the world are on their way right now to Pyeongchang.
Yeah, which Americans arrived overnight? That's coming up.
And still ahead, while Larry Nassar is apologizing for comments that his attorney made about victims of the doctor's abuse.
And we're still tracking lake effect snow west of 131. It's chilly out there. Wind chill's a bit of a factor. And before we go to break, I just got to throw this out there. Casey, I didn't know anybody could be pedantic when it comes to Elton John song titles, but you are. Daybreak continues after this.
This is 24-hour News 8 Daybreak with Teresa Weekly, Casey Jones, meteorologists Terry DeBoer and Matt Kirkwood, and traffic with Tom Hillen.
Well, we are partly cloudy and downright cold here across West Michigan. From Grand Rapids to the lakeshore, we're seeing some snow, and it's accumulating. Not serious snow accumulation, but we are going to see another inch or so. Basically, in this exact area where the snow is falling, that's where it's going to continue this afternoon. And if you're traveling anywhere here along the lakeshore, especially far western Muskegon, good part of western, or at least the western 2/3 of Ottawa, Allegan and Van Buren County, and even parts of western Kalamazoo County, west of 131, we're going to see up and down visibility, and we could see slick roads from time to time here over the next 3 to 6 hours. The Futurecast shows that this is going to let up, though. By the time we hit lunch today, I think most of the snow is totally gone. Those lake effect snow bands will dissipate. Partly cloudy skies this afternoon, but still cold. Wind chills hovering either side of 0 for much of the afternoon. Tomorrow morning, we could see some light snow here, mostly north of Grand Rapids. Mostly cloudy skies here. And then the accumulating snow that we've been talking about, that really rolls in Saturday afternoon, sticks around Saturday night into Sunday morning. And we're talking about enough to shovel, that's for sure. Accumulating snow here mostly Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. Widespread 3 to 6 inches of snow. The concentration, the area that could have the best lift and therefore the biggest snowfall totals will be here north and west of Grand Rapids. I think a solid 5 to 7 inches is possible across parts of Newaygo, northern Muskegon, Oceana, and Mecosta County. So the plows will be out, and we will have some shoveling to do, no question. Right now, 13 in Grand Rapids, but you factor in the breeze, it feels like 0 in Battle Creek and 3 in South Haven. Here's the 8-day forecast. So snowy weekend for us. Cooler on Monday with partly cloudy skies. Tuesday, some light snow, and we stay chilly for the rest of the week. If you're headed to Minneapolis this weekend, 7 degrees the high here on Sunday. Of course, the game's in the evening, but as you're traveling to the game, wind chill 10 below, and I say pretty normal because I grew up in Minnesota. High of 7 in early February. That's about what you should expect this time of year. Okay, it's Groundhog Day. Ellen has our update on that.
Okay, so we're trying to stack up the statistics on the groundhog. So Punxsutawney Phil usually sees his shadow about 87% of the time. So by a far margin, most of the time, but he's only right about 39% of the time. So his accuracy is not that great. This is a data set that spans over 131 years. As for our forecast, as we look through not just the next month or so, but even off through March and April, there's a good chance that over that entire time span, we're going to be trending cooler than average in the Great Lakes because of the upper level setup. So we've got the groundhog forecast, we have our forecast, we also have things like the Farmer's Almanac that sometimes come into play. So this next map I want to show you compares the accuracy of not just meteorologists, but also the Farmer's Almanac and the groundhog. So in green, you'll see areas where the Farmer's Almanac is most accurate. In the red, you'll see areas where the Groundhog Day prediction is most accurate, and of course in white, where the meteorologists are most accurate. All right, Tom, we want to get a check of the traffic now that we've got a check of that outlook.
You like that map, don't you? It's a good one. Taking a look right now at the Holland area in Ottawa County, where we are seeing some of those lake effect snow bands that Kyle have been showing you all morning long here. You can see a little bit of slowdown along US 31. I-196 doing fairly well, but it's the region of the Benton Harbor through Van Buren, Allegan County, which we've seen the majority of our slowdowns today, as well as portions of I-94. Looks like we're doing okay at the time, but this has been a relatively slow area all morning long. I'll have a final check of traffic for you in a few minutes. Casey and Teresa.
Thank you, Tom. It's 6:49, and today we'll hear painful stories from more of Larry Nassar's victims. The ex-sports doctor is entering day 2 of his sentencing in Eaton County.
These charges have to do with abuse at a gymnastics club in that area. Nassar will already go to prison for 100 years on convictions in other cases.
But the attention this morning could be turned towards Nassar's attorney. She's raising some of her eyebrows after calling several of the victims liars.
24-Hour News 8's Marvis Herring is here with her statements. Marvis.
Teresa and Casey, attorney Shannon Smith says there's no way that Nassar could have assaulted so many women. She says that the number of victims is, quote, extreme. But even Larry Nassar, he's distancing himself from these controversial comments from his attorney. Smith's comments were sure to spark outrage. That's exactly what they've done this morning. She says some of the 150-plus survivors who have spoken during Nassar's sentencings did receive legitimate medical care. Revelations in the Nassar sex scandal continue to trickle in over the last 16 months. The number of accusers went from 2 to 265. Smith says many women did not question their treatment until this story gained national momentum. During an interview, she said, quote, some of those girls, to be quite frank, they didn't even know what to think before because they never felt victimized. He was never inappropriate to them. And because of everything they've seen, they just feel like they must have been victimized. And I think that's really unfortunate. Nassar says he did not authorize those comments and says he's sorry about the distraction at a time when it should be focused on the victim's statements. The hearing is expected to last until early next week. We'll be streaming the hearing live on woodtv.com. Teresa?
All right, Marvis, thank you. We'll hear today from a man who police say is a person of interest in the Las Vegas mass shooting. Douglas Haig is 55 years old. He'll speak with his lawyer today in Arizona. Haig sold the gunman some of the ammunition used in the mass shooting, and he says the guilt he feels because of that forced him to shut down his side business. Police in Grand Rapids need your help finding a man they call a person of interest in the murder of a woman and her grandson. Norman Muhammad Jr. is 43 years old. Police want to question him as part of their investigation into how Jermaine Bullock Brown and her 2-year-old grandson, King Talbert, died. Someone shot and killed them January 17th. A source close to the investigation says Muhammad and Brown had a relationship that revolved around drugs and that he threatened her when that relationship ended. Police are not calling Muhammad a suspect right now, only a person of interest.
People will be rolling up to the auto show in Grand Rapids this weekend. The auto show runs through Sunday. Here's a live look at the showroom with the lights off at the DeVos Place this morning. Doors and lights open at 11 o'clock this morning and at 10 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, American athletes are rolling into Pyeongchang ahead of the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, the U.S. women's hockey star Hillary Knight tweeted this photo a few hours ago. The whole crowd there, her team arriving at the Olympic Village.
Still awaiting the biggest arrival yet, our sports director, Jack Doles, he's on his way to South Korea. When he gets there, he'll be bringing us live reports and exclusive content.
But before that, we are going Olympic. We tried out a few of the winter sports, putting our skills to the test. This was so much fun to do.
Yeah, our coverage of some of these sports starts on Monday, and it'll lead up to the Olympic Hopes Gold Dream Special, where Jack will introduce us to all the Michigan athletes competing. That's next Friday at 7. Spoiler alert, none of us
made
are
it.
Those athletes after our try at the Olympics.
One of us did win a gold medal in the Daybreak Olympic competition. It's 6:53 now. We have our picks for the Super Bowl winners coming up.
Plus a game for people who aren't into football. That's in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Daybreak on this Friday morning. Super Bowl Sunday is just 2.5 days away, and Team Daybreak's ready.
Well, we made our Super Bowl picks. Here they are. I like an underdog, okay? So I'm pulling for the Eagles to win 26-24.
How brave of you. I stuck to the narrative, Tom Brady and the Patriots, 31-17.
You know, I'm going with the Patriots, too, with a 23-20 win.
I also went with the Patriots, and I see them winning 28-21.
And I'm thinking 27-10 Patriots.
Okay. Catherine, she took the script out of Teresa's book. She's going with the Eagles in Philly, and Marvis Herring picks the Patriots to win as well, 42-14.
It's fun when the underdog wins.
Yeah,
Quite
it
the
would make a great game, too.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know, I didn't notice that earlier, but okay.
If you're not so much into the action on the field as you are commercials, we have you covered there, too.
Yeah, you can head to woodtv.com and vote real time on how you like the commercials on Super Bowl Sunday.
All right. Let's take a look at the final check of your traffic situation. We do have a crash southbound US 131 approaching D Avenue in Kalamazoo County. That has quite the backup forming right now. You can see that stop and go back to about M89 this morning. As I expand the view out and take a look at the Metro Grand Rapids area, things doing quite well here. We're not working with any freeway crashes. Kyle?
Chilly today. Wind chills either side of 0 most of the day. Some lake effect snow continues this morning near the lakeshore. Otherwise, partly cloudy and just plain old cold, and we have some accumulating snow on the way this weekend, too.
Yeah, we do. So we're going to be seeing a widespread 3 to 6 inches. And then once we get to Monday, we'll start to see that snow depart. But 18 degrees, so you can see that chill is going to be sticking around, some single-digit lows in the next few days. I mean, it's February. As Kyle mentioned, no shocker there.
I thought my face was going to fall off yesterday.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh, it was so bad.
It's not good for a news anchor. Gotta keep your face on, Casey.
So does Punxsutawney Phil even come out of the hole? I wouldn't.
When it's this cold,
It's too cold.
he's like, never mind.
Bye.